What if the first Americans didn't arrive the way we were taught? New DNA evidence reveals an Ice Age journey that began not only in Siberia, but along the coasts of East Asia, where ancient families followed the ocean's edge into a completely new world. For centuries, scientists have wrestled with one of history's greatest questions. Where did the first Americans come from, and how did they get here? For much of the 20th century, the leading theory held that ancient peoples from Siberia crossed the Bering Land Bridge around 13,000 years ago, bringing with them the tools and traditions of the Clovis culture. But in recent decades, new discoveries, ancient footprints, stone tools, and now DNA have painted a far more complex picture. A new DNA study published in Cell Reports adds a surprising twist. Some of the earliest Americans appear to have originated not only from Siberia, but also from East Asia. To uncover this story, researchers turned to a powerful genetic tool, mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA. Think of your DNA as a vast instruction manual that makes you who you are. Most of it is stored in the nucleus of your cells, but a small portion lives inside the mitochondria, the tiny energy-producing structures found in every cell. Mitochondrial DNA is unique because it is passed down only from mothers to their children, like a genetic heirloom. Over time, small mutations accumulate in mtDNA, acting like a molecular clock. By tracking these changes, scientists can trace ancient migrations, following humanity's footsteps across tens of thousands of years. The study focused on a rare mitochondrial lineage known as haplogroup D4H3. A haplogroup is essentially a genetic family tree, people who share specific mutations inherited from a common ancestor. Today, D4H3 is rare, found in only about 1 in 200 people worldwide. It is most common in parts of East Asia and has been identified in ancient remains from northern China. D4H3 has several branches. One, called D4H3A, is found in indigenous populations of the Americas. Its sister branch, D4H3B, appears in modern populations in China and Southeast Asia, including Thailand. This connection hinted at a shared ancestry linking Asia and the Americas during the Ice Age. To trace the origins of D4H, researchers conducted a massive genetic analysis. They examined over 100,000 modern DNA samples from across Eurasia and the Americas, along with more than 15,000 ancient DNA samples from archaeological sites around the world. The results were striking. The data suggest that the D4H lineage likely originated in northern coastal China, a region that includes modern provinces such as Liaoning, Hebei, and areas around Beijing, as well as parts of the lower Yangtze region. The researchers then reconstructed a detailed phylogeny, a family tree of D4H and its subbranches. At the root is D4H, which later split into several groups: D4H1, common in northern and central China; D4H2, found in Japan, Siberia, and among the Ainu; D4H3, centered in northern China with branches reaching the Americas; and D4H4, mainly distributed across northwestern and southwestern China. Within D4H3, two key branches emerged. D4H3A became a founding maternal lineage in the Americas, while D4H3B remained largely in East Asia. One ancient individual, labeled NE5 from the Amur River Valley and dated to about 14,000 years ago, belonged to D4H3A. This sample was only 6 mutations removed from Native American D4H3A lineages, making it the closest known Asian relative discovered so far. The study identified 2 major waves of expansion, or radiation events, during which D4H lineages spread from northern coastal China. The first occurred during the Last Glacial Maximum, between roughly 26,000 and 19,000 years ago, when Earth's climate was at its coldest. Using a method known as tip dating, combining the ages of ancient DNA samples with radiocarbon dating, the researchers estimated that the D4H3A lineage began diverging around 22,000 years ago. This suggests that ancestors of Native Americans started moving eastward long before the opening of the interior ice-free corridor. At the time, the Bering Land Bridge was often blocked by massive ice sheets, so how did these people reach the Americas? The answer may lie in the coastal migration hypothesis. Scientists now propose that early migrants traveled along the Pacific coastline using simple boats or rafts, following what is sometimes called the Kelp Highway. This route was not a road, but a rich marine ecosystem stretching from East Asia to North America, providing food from kelp forests, fish, and marine mammals. This was likely not a single migration, but many small journeys as groups gradually moved along the coast, navigating icy waters and unfamiliar shores. The second major expansion occurred during the last deglaciation, between about 19,000 and 11,500 years ago, as the climate warmed and ice sheets retreated. During this period, sub-haplogroups such as D4H4A and D4H1A expanded across East Asia. Some lineages spread into Japan, contributing to the genetic ancestry of the Ainu and other ancient populations. At the time, land bridges still connected mainland China to Japan before rising sea levels submerged them around 12,000 years ago, making migration easier. While mitochondrial DNA traces maternal ancestry, the Y chromosome reveals paternal lineages. The study found a striking parallel in a Y chromosome haplogroup called C2AL1373, which is closely related to Native American Y chromosome lineages such as QM3. By analyzing Y chromosome data for more than 458,000 individuals, the researchers found that C2AL1373 was most common in northern coastal China. Two ancient individuals from the Songnen Plain, dated to around 14,000 years ago, carried both D4H3A mitochondrial DNA and C2AL1373 Y chromosomes. This suggests that entire family groups, both mothers and fathers from this region, contributed to the early peopling of the Americas. This genetic evidence is echoed in the archaeological record. Across northern China, Japan, and the Americas, Ice Age populations produced remarkably similar stone tools, including stemmed projectile points with notched bases. Sites such as Cooper's Ferry in Idaho, dated to around 16,000 years ago, show stronger technological similarities to sites in Japan than those in Siberia, hinting at shared cultural traditions. Together, the genetic, archaeological, and environmental evidence supports the idea that some of the first Americans came from northern coastal China, traveled along the Pacific coast, and reached the Americas thousands of years earlier than once believed. Today, descendants of these ancient travelers still carry the D4H3A lineage in indigenous communities across the Americas, from the Arctic Inuit to the Mapuche of southern Chile. In Japan, the Ainu preserve related D4H lineages, pointing to a deep ancestral connection across the Pacific. This discovery reveals a hidden chapter in the story of human migration. It challenges long-held assumptions, highlights the importance of coastal travel during the Ice Age, and uncovers unexpected genetic links between East Asia, Japan, and the Americas. And it reminds us that the story of humanity is far from complete. As DNA technology advances and more ancient remains are studied, we continue to piece together the extraordinary journeys that shaped our world. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more stories from humanity's deep past.